Right, so everyone's hyping Solana as the fast, cheap Ethereum alternative, but you've been telling me ICP is actually superior. Let's break this down. What's the real story?
Before we dive in, I need to be clear this conversation is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing I say is financial advice, and you shouldn't rely on my opinions for investment decisions. That said, let me share what I've learned about these two networks. They are actually solving different problems, which makes direct comparison tricky. Solana has great marketing and has built a strong ecosystem, but when you look under the hood, there are some important technical differences worth understanding.
Let's start with the elephant in the room. The network outages?
Exactly. Since launch, Solana has experienced 7 major network outages that completely halted block production. The most recent was in February 2024, which lasted about 4 hours and 46 minutes. To their credit, they've gone a full year without a major outage from February 2024 to February 2025, their longest stretch ever. That shows real progress.
Okay, but to be fair, they're pushing the limits of technology, right? Growing pains?
That's the narrative, and there's some truth to it. But the fundamental architecture has challenges. Solana processes everything in a single global state, which means when it gets congested, the whole thing can grind to a halt or crash. ICP uses a subnet architecture where different subnets can process independently. If one subnet has issues, the rest keep running. Now, I should note that while ICP's status page shows no recent major incidents, I don't have access to comprehensive historical outage data covering ICP's entire history. But the architectural difference is real. Subnet isolation provides inherent resilience that a single-state system doesn't have.
So it's a design philosophy difference.
Completely. And this ties into the next major issue, accessibility and hardware requirements. To run a Solana validator, you need serious hardware. We're talking upfront costs between $50,000 and $50,000, plus annual operational expenses often exceeding $60,000. You need 24 plus CPU cores, 384 GB plus of RAM, and enterprise-grade NVMe SSDs. The barrier to entry is high enough that only wealthy entities or institutions can realistically participate.
And ICP is different how?
ICP's node provider model is fundamentally different. Initial costs range from $5,000 to $30,000, so roughly half the upfront investment. But more importantly, ICP node providers are compensated by the network. They receive monthly rewards calculated based on their capital and operating expenses over 48 months, designed to cover costs. The specific dollar amounts vary based on hardware generation, geographic location, and number of nodes, with the NNS DAO setting rewards based on a 30-day average ICP price. It's a professional infrastructure provider model rather than an open validator free-for-all.
Wait, so anyone can run a Solana validator but not an ICP node?
Correct. Solana is permissionless. Anyone with the hardware can validate. ICP requires approval from the network nervous system, the DAO, that governs the network. It's more like applying to be an authorized data center provider. Different philosophy. Solana optimized for anyone being able to participate. ICP optimized for professional, reliable infrastructure. Both approaches have trade-offs.
Interesting. What about the speed claims? Solana advertises like 65,000 transactions per second.
Here's where it gets misleading. Around 80% of Solana's reported transaction count consists of consensus messages, nodes talking to each other, not actual user transactions. In real-world scenarios, Solana consistently achieves around 4,000 to 4,500 TPS for actual transactions. Still fast, don't get me wrong, but it's not the 65,000 they advertise.
So what's ICP's real number?
ICP measures speed differently because it's built for different purposes. The networks aren't directly comparable on TPS alone. ICP is optimized for hosting entire websites and applications, not just moving tokens around. When people load web pages or interact with apps on ICP, those happen at normal internet speeds, milliseconds, not seconds. That's why it's called the internet computer.
So it's actually fast enough to replace regular websites?
Exactly. Solana is fast at processing financial transactions. ICP is fast at running actual web applications. Different use cases, different architectures. Think of it this way. Solana is a high-speed payment rail. ICP is trying to be the infrastructure for the entire internet.
You mentioned MEV earlier. What's that about?
Maximal extractable value is basically front running. On Solana, bots can see your transaction before it's processed and jump ahead of you. In October 2025 alone, over 18,000 SOL were extracted through sandwich attacks from over 202,000 victims. Throughout 2024 and into 2025, tens of thousands of SOLs have been extracted monthly through these attacks. One major bot alone extracted about 65,880 SOL, roughly $13.43 million in just one 30-day period.
That's pretty concerning.
It's a structural issue with how validators can reorder transactions within blocks for profits. Validators running modified clients can hold your transaction and sandwich it, buying before you, selling after you, pocketing the difference. On ICP, the subnet architecture and deterministic message processing make this significantly harder to execute, though I should note that no blockchain is completely immune to MEV. It's an ongoing challenge across the industry.
Okay, but Solana has a huge ecosystem now, tons of projects, DeFi protocols, NFTs. Doesn't that matter?
Activity matters, sure, but let's talk about what kind of activity. Most of Solana's ecosystem is DeFi speculation and NFT trading, which is fine, but it's not really changing the internet. ICP is built for a different purpose, actually replacing traditional web infrastructure. You can host entire applications, websites, social networks, all fully on-chain. No AWS, no Google Cloud needed for your front end.
So Solana is Web 3, but still relies on Web 2 infrastructure?
Exactly. Most Web 3 apps are really just Web 2 apps with a blockchain wallet bolted on. The front run runs on centralized servers. ICP is trying to replace those servers entirely. That's the difference between a blockchain that processes transactions and a blockchain that actually functions as a world computer.
So bottom line, why should someone choose ICP over Solana?
It depends on your use case. If you want to build a decentralized exchange or trade meme coins, Solana is a solid choice. It's fast, it's cheap when it's working, and it has deep liquidity and a vibrant ecosystem. But if you actually believe in the vision of decentralization, of replacing big tech infrastructure, of building applications that can't be shut down by Amazon or Google, then ICP is the only blockchain actually built for that. Solana is a better Ethereum for financial applications. ICP is trying to be a decentralized internet. That said, ICP has its own challenges. It's technically complex to develop for. You need to learn new languages like Motoko or adapt to ICP's unique Rust implementation. The ecosystem is much smaller. Documentation and tooling, while improving, are less mature than established platforms. And the token launch in May 2021 at the market peak, followed by a significant price crash, damaged its reputation.
That's a pretty big claim about replacing the internet.
It is, but look at what each network lets you build. On Solana, you can build a decentralized exchange, a lending protocol, an NFT marketplace. On ICP, you can build a decentralized version of Netflix or Twitter or Google Docs, fully on-chain, no centralized servers. That's the difference. The question isn't which is better, they optimize for different things. Solana excels at high-throughput financial applications. ICP excels at hosting full-stack web applications. The real question is, what are you trying to build?
All right, I'm starting to see the distinction. But ICP is still way less popular than Solana. Why?
Marketing, timing, network effects. Solana launched during the 2021 bull run and rode the hype wave. ICP launched at the top of the market and immediately crashed, which severely damaged its reputation. The technology and marketing are different things. Just because something is popular doesn't mean it's better or worse. It means it captured mind share at the right moment. Solana has done an excellent job building community, attracting developers and creating a narrative around being the Ethereum killer. They've earned their success. ICP is playing a longer game with a more ambitious vision, but that comes with higher complexity and a steeper adoption curve.
Fair point. So you think ICP is undervalued right now?
I think it's underappreciated from a technology perspective. Whether that translates to token price is anyone's guess. Markets can stay irrational longer than most people can stay solvent, as the saying goes. But if you're evaluating these networks on technical merit and long-term vision, they're solving fundamentally different problems. One is trying to be the fastest blockchain for transactions. The other is trying to rebuild the internet. Both are valuable goals. The question is, which future you think is more likely and which you want to build?
That's a hell of a pitch.
It's not a pitch, it's just what the technology actually does. Now, whether the world wants a decentralized internet built on blockchain, that's the real question. And honestly, we won't know the answer for years. Both networks are experiments. Both could succeed, both could fail. Or they could coexist, serving different markets. The important thing is to understand what you're actually building on and not confuse marketing with fundamentals.